Is becoming an entrepreneur the newest cool trend? I'll be exploring how social media has managed to glamorize entrepreneurship. Social media has a way of glamorizing anything. People tend to show the best parts of their lives and hide the struggles and realities of what they're going through. I want to uncover the realities of being an entrepreneur and find out if it's as glamorous as what social media shows it to be. I'll be speaking to 3 different entrepreneurs, Mark, Mary, and Zach, to discuss their journeys to show their realities of what being an entrepreneur really is. I first discovered who Mark was by watching his TED Talk on YouTube. Mark is the founder and chief purpose officer of The Unconventionalists. He has a podcast where he discusses practical business tips on how to create a purpose-driven business. Mark also has a YouTube channel where he gives useful tips to entrepreneurs as well as motivational talks. He does a number of keynote talks, workshops, coaching, and much more. I sat and spoke to Mark to find out more about his journey to becoming an entrepreneur.
Ever since I'm a kid, I've always had this drive of wanting to start something. I always thought I'd do something a bit different. I used to, when I was 14 years old, I started like a kind of skateboard company brand called Harsh, because I wanted to create some cool clothes brand. I got involved with all sorts of different kind of schemes and businesses throughout. So I've always had this kind of idea that one day I'd run my business, and I think what happens a lot is that you have an idea of what it would be like. And so you project yourself to go, oh, when I'm going to be my own boss, life's going to be amazing, I'm going to have so much free time, I'm only going to work with clients I really love, and you've got all these kind of great ideas. And then when you become your own boss, you realize, like, oh, okay, wow, it's something completely different. So that's hard. I think the idea of having to adapt to actually what it is to be the sole responsible for all decisions you make, to not have someone you can bounce ideas with, especially if you're a sole founder. If you're just a solopreneur or just kind of a one-woman or one-man band, it can be tough. I think a lot of people make up that becoming an entrepreneur, starting your own business, will solve all their biggest problems, and so they project everything that they're not happy with or satisfied with the idea that this will solve it all. And I really believe that not everyone is at all built to run a business, not because they can't, but because they won't be happy, which is very different, right? And I think a lot of people would be more miserable running their own business than they would be to work for an organization they really feel passionate about, with people they really care about, in a way that's aligned with their values and where they get to show their full selves to work.
I decided to go and speak to another entrepreneur with a different journey than Mark's. Mary Jane is a founder of Conscious Cocoon and supported hundreds of introverted, new, and established business owners to network successfully and enjoy it at the same time. Mary Jane has a number of talks and programs to help assist introverted entrepreneurs. I decided to sit and speak to her to find out more about her journey.
There was a point when I was working in my job, and I loved my job. I did actually genuinely love what I was doing in the place that I was working, but it just wasn't the right thing for me physically because it was making me sick. But I got to a point where I was like, I was quite happy. I had a boyfriend, I had, a place to live, I had like roof over my head, food, friends, was able to do stuff. But kind of was like, is this it? Is this all that there is to life? Is it just, you wake up, you go to work, you pay your bills, you go, you go out, you do some stuff, and that's it. And
so you weren't very passionate about it? No,
and so that's why I was like, okay, I got the impetus from my body that this isn't what I can do for the rest of my life. What do I actually want to do? And that's where the idea of actually going down the counselling route came in. And then kind of was like, oh, okay, I can be my own boss, and that's where I kind of was like, actually I can have a lot more freedom and can be more in charge of my time and do more of what I actually feel passionate about and actually want to do. I think people are probably going to frown at me saying this, but I think a lot of the kind of, when you're a kid, is you go to school, you get your education and you get a job and you do that and you'll be set for life, but actually that doesn't make the most fulfilling life. It might work for some people, that they go and they're happy going to work and getting a paycheck, and there's nothing wrong with a steady paycheck, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking it. But for me personally, it just isn't fulfilling enough. Unless, something I was saying to a friend of mine, I have to know why I'm doing it, and the why has to be something that is motivating and makes me want to
continue.
Whereas my my wife and my full-time job was, you know, just because I've got all these bills and like this is what I was supposed to do, like this is why I'm doing it. It's like, but actually is it what I want?
Yeah.
And that's where kind of
shifted.
Yeah, I shifted it. It was a bit more like, got to a stage of like, actually, like I've lived my life doing what I'm supposed to do, but I'm physically in pain and I'm kind of unhappy.
So what's the point? Zach is a young fashion designer that creates his own do-rags and sells them on his website. He has a large following of over 10k followers on social media and has grown his business rapidly. Zach has gained a lot of recognitions for his unique designs and the good quality of material he uses. Zach has now decided to expand his business and open a clothing line with a similar design to his do-rags, which has also shown to be very successful. I sat with Zach to find out more about his journey.
I'm not happy at university. I don't want to sit in a classroom with 50 other people doing something that I don't want to do whilst I'm spending £9,000 plus on a course that I'm not happy about. See what I mean? So my mum was like, you know what, cool, but you can't be sitting at home. So I'm like, yeah, no problems. Got myself a 9-to-5 job, saved up a bit of money. It was easy to ask my mum for advice. She was obviously open with it. She was happy with me to do it. What do you call it? I got my first material somewhere in Shepherd's Bush. I was in Shepherd's Bush. I saw the first material and I decided, you know what, let me see if I can make a do-rag out of it. So that very same day, went somewhere. My mum took me to this place where these guys had these sewing machines and whatnot. Obviously I did have background of how to sew. So I started sewing it. It didn't come out really great, but I was obviously happy with the product. I was happy with what I made. Ever since then, I just started making black do-rags. When I started making it, people loved it. People went, yo, listen, we want more of this. Decided to make more of it, and then I just expanded to making like florals and different type of do-rags. So yeah, that's where all this floral came about. I started playing with different materials. I took the risk, which obviously you have to take risk or else literally you're not gonna go nowhere in life.
Does social media really glamorize being an entrepreneur? Are people being fooled by all the positive images that they see, making them think it's overnight success without hard work and determination?
It's easy for one to show this like success. So it's easy for me to show you my nice shoes, my nice shirt, and my nice car. But then when you come to my house, I probably live in a bunk bed where there's rent due and whatnot. So it's easy for people to actually show the good side of their life and hide the bad side. See what I mean? So I think with social media, I don't think no one's willing to actually post the struggles, or no one's willing to really post the hardships. People only want to boast and show off this lifestyle they've got. You see what I mean? 9 times out of 10, they're not living that lifestyle.
I think social media in general can be very deceptive. Like, I think a lot of the time people kind of curate what they put on there. So a lot of the time it's the best stuff, right? It's the, you know, they got a new car, or they went on holiday, or they, you know, they made a, you know, $10,000 sale, whatever it is. Like there's always the big thing, and not very many people post about, oh my god, I had such a crap day, like it was such a struggle. It's kind of changing. I think there are more and more now people who are talking about the difficulties that they're having.
I think 100% what social media portrays in terms of a reality is very different. I think part of why my work, especially my newsletter, when people sign up to my newsletter on my website and I talk about the reality of the journey, it resonates with a lot of people, because I think there's not that many people who are willing to be real about actually it's tough. Sometimes you have really crappy days. Sometimes you have days you don't want to get out of bed. Sometimes you have days you're wondering, why the hell did I do this? This is a massive mistake. And sometimes you have days where it's like, this is amazing, it's the best thing since sliced bread, you know? So I think it's really important that if you want to become, if you want to build a sustainable business that makes a difference, makes an impact, and you feel like you're making something that matters in the world, you also need to learn how to create the environment for that to happen. And that can only happen when you start putting social media boundaries in place.
I wanted to discover a little bit more about their journey to uncover the realities of being an entrepreneur. Is it as smooth as social media makes it out to be?
Okay, so when I made my first 100 do-rags, I was sat in my car, literally thinking, okay, how am I going to shift this? Like how am I going to sell this now? Literally, like, And like I had the idea of how I was gonna do it.
Yeah.
But now that I'm literally living in that moment, I've got the device right beside me in my car thinking, look, I spent hundreds of pounds making it, hundreds of pounds on the material, traveling up and down the country. Now, how am I going to sell these? Literally, that was where I was at.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I told myself, look, you could sit there and have these negative thoughts and you're not going to go nowhere, or you go home right now, all those ideas you've had, you put it down to paper and you actually graft. Literally, when I mean graft, literally graft. So people out here, obviously, who believe, you know what, overnight success. That's literally, people can get overnight success. Things like that happen, but obviously with me, it wasn't overnight success. It was hard overnight. Like it was like hard work overnight, literally overtime. There was times where I've even met my friends or my mates. Even my own mum was telling me, look, you're always coming home sleeping and then that's it, you're out of the house. See what I mean? Like. So
she's like worried about you.
Yeah, of course. But then that's how it is. It's business. It's like if you've got a dream, you've got to chase you've got to chase a dream. By chasing those dreams, it comes with a lot of pros and cons. See what I mean? So alhamdulillah, a lot of pros came out of it. Minor cons came out of it, which is now sorted.
I'll tell you what though, when I thought about quitting my job to start my own business, I was so sure. I was like, this is going to be so easy. I'm going to smash this. You just watch. In the next 2 years, I'll be on 6 figures. All this kind of crap that you think. And then I quit my job and I realized that whatever money I'd saved was halved, twice as fast as I thought it would be. And I just thought, oh, what do I do now? And then what happens is that your reptile brain, right, starts kicking in. Your monkey brain, what you would call it, the part of the brain that basically tells you need to eat, sleep, reproduce, and eat right. And it's going, how are you going to pay the bills? How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? And it's really hard to be creative in those moments because you're just completely driven by your survival instincts. So it's very hard to be conceptual, kind of visionary or dreaming and all this kind of stuff. So there's a video, I haven't released it yet because I need to figure out how to kind of set it up in my vlog, but there's a video I filmed myself and I'm just crying. It's like a couple of months in and I'm going, what the hell have I done? What have I done? And so you bounce up, there's this kind of idea that you go between feast and famine when you start off. It's like one day it's like, oh my God, it's amazing. The next day like, oh my God, what have we done? One day is amazing, you go up and down. That kind of stuff. So of course it got down but I think what people need to learn is to be with it. I think it's the same thing with athletes. When you speak to competitive athletes, top athletes, often they'll have that voice of doubt or they'll have that voice of fear, but they've just learned to live with it and to kind of go, well, I won't let it dictate my actions or my future. And I think the biggest mistake that people will have is that they wait until that voice disappears, and it may never disappear. The only difference is that you learn how to cohabit with it. You learn how to befriend it, you learn how to use it, you learn how to tame it. But I think the bigger the challenge, the bigger the voice gets.
Doubt is like, everybody doubts at some point. Everybody has that thing of like, is this the right thing? And only you can really know the answer, right? And sometimes you don't actually know until you try, right? There's things that I will go out and I try and I'm like, I'm not sure this is going to work. I don't know, like, is this going to make the impact that I want it to make? Am I going to meet the people that I want to meet? And all the time, there's always doubt. But I think the best way to kind of deal with that is actually, there's different ways of dealing with it. And the ways that I've come up with are remembering that I've overcome other things, right? Like knowing that, I thought this would be really hard. Like, an example just comes to mind of like passing my driving test. Like it's really hard, it's really nerve-wracking, it's really awkward, but once you do it, it's like, okay, cool, I've achieved that thing, and the next time I feel like, I can't do this thing, it's really difficult, it's really challenging, it's like, actually no, other challenging things that I've overcome have, I've survived and I've succeeded and I've got the knowledge from that and I can move forward.
I've learned a lot by speaking to Mark, Mary and Zach about the realities of being an entrepreneur, and I was very interested to hear about their different journeys. Finally, if you're an aspiring entrepreneur, here's a few advice for you.
Make sure you do something that you know you want to do. Make sure you try to put the money aspect aside for a bit and try to develop the drive, and always tell yourself why you want to do it. try not think about the cons, try to think about more of the positives out of it.
Yeah.
Doing that will literally help you. I think that's what I done to obviously get myself to where I am right now. To get myself that success that obviously people do want. I don't believe I've got the success yet. Maybe you might believe so, but I might believe, you know what, I don't have it yet. But all I can say is just make sure you literally work hard, motivate yourself, literally keep yourself on your feet. And I always stress a lot exercise. It might sound weird, but literally what I'll do is I'll do like morning jogs, because you've got to feed yourself mentally.
Does it like refresh your...
It does refresh you, because then like if you're always just there stressing out this and this and that, mentally you have to try get yourself out of that mindset.
Because it does get to you, innit? Like,
it is dangerous, like mental health is a really big thing. And if you're just there stressed all the time, I gotta get this made, it's not good for your mind. It's bad for your brain. So you jogging, it releases like endorphins, like happy endorphins, what your brain needs. So like that's why I always say go do a jog, go chill with your family. Like, so whenever you're off, go do something away from your business.
That's a good
Put your phone down. Don't think about, like, literally put your social media aside. Go chill with your mates. Literally, if someone calls you for business, don't pick up. Of course, if it's someone big, then but what I'm saying in general is try have your business times and have your personal times. Always have a fine line. Don't mix business with pleasure.
You get support because it's hard. Like, there will be times where you'll be like, why am I doing this? And that's where the why comes in. But also it's like, okay, I know why I'm doing this, but like, how do I do this, and what do I need to do to use this more effectively? Or how do I find the person who's really going to help me reach more people? Because actually that's part of networking, is finding those people who can put you in front of the people that you're looking for. And that's where also social media comes in, because it can very easily put you in front of people who might be the right fit for you.
Do it for the right reasons. So do it for yourself, in the sense of like, don't do it because you think it's cool, because what everybody else is doing, and that you should be doing what everybody else is doing, but do it because you genuinely want to do it. Then if you're going to do it for yourself, make sure you're doing it because you want to make a difference. I think, I'm not against making money. I think making money is great, because the more money you can make, the more impact you can have. I think it's a healthy thing to have a relationship with money. I really do. I think there's too much of a stigma around making money. However, if your purpose is to chase money, I think you'll fall flat on your head at one point and realize that it's not what that matters. It doesn't matter. Like, if you pursue money as the only goal, you'll always be miserable, because you'll never have enough money. So find the thing in the world that you feel called to help and heal, and go do that.